What's up, guys? It's the middle of July, actually end of July, and right now I'm on the summit of Mount Bierstadt, but that's not the goal of today, obviously, because we're here. The goal of today is behind us, Sawtooth, over to Mount Evans. For a full hike review of Mount Evans via the Sawtooth Ridge, you can check the link below. So this is kind of like a part 2 to a video that I shot a couple months ago, and we made an attempt on the Sawtooth, but there's way too much snow. We got too late of a start. So yeah, for the first part of this video, I'll kind of link it somewhere in the link below on how to get up to Bierstadt, but yeah, today we'll be focusing on the Sawtooth behind me here. Obviously, this is a little bit earlier in the day, but this is a full look at the route today. So going to be going up Bierstadt. That right there is the Sawtooth. It looks much worse than it is. It's only class 3. Once you're towards the end of it, you kind of wrap around, and then Mount Evans is straight through that way. Once you get on the summit of Mount Bierstadt, you're going to see this little tower here. That's where you're going to want to aim for. And this is basically a totally full look at Sawtooth. You're going to exit right up there, and I'll show you that point as we get closer. The Sawtooth Ridge is class 3, so definitely be experienced with that. I wouldn't recommend bringing dogs on it unless your dog is super experienced in the mountains, just because there's quite a bit of loose rock and class 3 moves along the way. So once you kind of get out there, you're just going to work basically straight across, and then the summit of Evans is kind of right under the sun right now. Man, the light looks so awesome. So yeah, this is a nice loop variation, or if you want to come back via the Sawtooth, you can definitely do that. Just make sure you have enough time and the weather's looking good. Man, every time I come up Bierstadt, I forget how much I hate it. It's just a nightmare with people. Got to the parking lot at 4:40 a.m. It's already full. It looked like legit a line of headlamps going up the mountain. Just the worst. There's a bit of down climbing here, and then you kind of want to hug this right side. There's a couple of towers. Let's see, this one right here and this one right here. You don't need to climb, so you can just skirt around them. I would give yourself a solid hour or 2 to do this, just so you take your time and you don't have to rush anything. Looking west, show you some views quickly here. Just beautiful, a lot greener than the last time I was here. And I'll also show you the exit while that we're up here and have a nice vantage point. So once you go over to Evans, you'll be coming back through here, and basically there's like a gully right in here that you're going to want to take down, and then go through this section, which is the willows, and then back to the parking lot over there. Now, I'm going to tell you, I love you guys, but I'm not going through the willows today. There's just no way in hell I'm doing it. So I'm actually going to have Jackie meet me over the summit of Mount Evans and just take the easy way out. If you do go down through the willows, they are a bitch. They suck. They're really hard to get through. They're wet, they're muddy, and it's just, they're not fun. Anyone who's been through them will say the same thing. And as much as I would love to do that to show you guys how to go through them, that's your own adventure. You can figure that one out. Whew, this is pretty narrow. So admittedly, taking a little bit harder of a route, you can stay down a bit to the right, but I'm kind of just getting in some practice and experience at higher exposure here. Okay. Oh, and I have the sniffles today, so if you're gonna get annoyed about that, Crimea River, I know people have complained about it in the past. Can't control it, man. Sorry. Kind of can see the next part here. So really, this part you can stay middle up until right there. Then you don't need to climb that tower. So skirt around it to the right. And then again, you can go up this one straight or go around that too. So the one thing I'll say, I've done this a while ago. The rock here is kind of loose, so just be careful when you're testing your holds, because some of these are pretty big and loose. It's not like super bobber, like some of the other ridge lines I've been on. A lot of loose boulders, loose rocks, so just be careful. And I know I'll never hear the end of it in the Capitol Peak video saying algae, but the lichen on these rocks can get slippery too, and it's everywhere, so just be careful if it just rained or if there's a frost overnight. Yeah, so definitely a lot of route finding on here. It's like minimal. It's not like it's you know, you're gonna completely get lost kind of thing, but it will just be like making your life a little bit easier. Don't want to fall down there. Hey. About halfway through the ridge at the saddle right now. So we are now down to 13,300 feet. So obviously that means on the other side, we're gonna have to regain that. It's super nice though. I knew I was gonna like this just because I liked it the first time, but it's so quiet here, and you know, the views of, I forget the name of this lake, but it's very popular and just serene, you know? So keep working on here. It's only 8 o'clock in the morning, so still have quite a bit of time until Jackie's gonna meet us at Evans. So I've been moving at a very leisurely pace and just taking my time and soaking it all in. Not a ton of cairns on this. This one here is what you're looking for. So this is the tower I was pointing to. As I said, you can't really, I guess you could if you really wanted to, but it probably turns into a pretty high class 5 move. So yeah, just come down here, find this cairn, shoot right up. There'll be this pointy rock right there, and then you'll be on the other side of the tower. A lot of this hike so far has been down climbing, so it's nice to finally mix in some climbing. Regular. Once you're up here, skirt to the right and just kind of work this side here. All right. I just did exactly what I told you guys not to do, which is climb this tower. But if you do make the mistake I did, you can just down climb it. It's not a big deal. Looking back to Mount Bierstadt, the summit, you'll see there's every person in the world up there. So the toughest part, in my estimation, is this section right here. A lot of down climbing, a lot of pretty steep moves. And then once you kind of get down here, you're really just doing more down climbing, but it's not as technical. I did exactly what I told you guys not to do, which is climb this freaking tower. So yeah, theoretically, you just want to stay a bit lower here, so that way you don't have to like gain the elevation I just did for no reason. And so this is the last tower here, and eventually you want to get on this side of it and work your way into here. So you can just send it right up here. There'll probably be more class 4 mixed in if you do that. If you don't want to get as technical, like I've been saying, you can just skirt around to the side. Could have avoided all of this, but no. Quick tip about down climbing, although it feels incredibly uncomfortable because you're a human and you're not used to facing backwards down a hill, it's way easier to leverage your gravity. So try to do it as much as you can because it'll just make things a lot more safe and stable for you. Base of the last tower here. This is the crux of the route. So you have a choice here. You can either go up here and skirt around, as you know, basically go up as high as you feel comfortable. I'm probably gonna do that, just go right here. Or the last time I did this, I went down here. There's like a well-established trail I followed, and eventually it does the same thing. It like works you across. But again, I'm just not really trying to lose elevation if I don't have to. Look at that lake right now. Look at the sunlight, man. Sorry, I'm getting distracted. It's beautiful. So yeah, it's up to you. This is more exposed, a bit more technical. This is still exposed, but a bit less technical. So yeah, it's gonna go right up there. I'm up that bit. You can keep climbing up, or you could just skirt around to the side here. Totally up to you. I'm gonna keep going up. In a chimney. Hopefully I don't cliff out. That would suck. Okay. Success. Finally at that crossover I've been talking about all day. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Said earlier left or right. I would go left. It's a bit more exposed, but the rock is super solid. And yeah, I think when you go down here, you have a lot of grassy slopes, which, you know, may seem safer in your head, but there's really nothing to grip on. A lot of the grass is just dirt underneath and it could slide. So now that we've rounded the corner into the darkness here, you can see the rest of the route. It really is not as bad as it looks. Basically, you're gonna work up that ramp. And from here, it looks pretty diesel, like narrow and steep drop off, which it is in a lot of senses, but it's not as bad as it looks. The views, on the other hand, are as awesome as they look. Beautiful, not a cloud that I'm worried about anytime soon. So, yeah, in the winter though, and in the spring, this section right here could be super, super sketchy. Super, super sketchy, because the snow will hang on because it's in the shade, even though it's west facing. But, you know, if you cliff out here, if you lose a grip here, you can kind of see what awaits you. But here's another good view of the descent that I will not be taking. And then you follow this natural slope down into here, and this area, literally all of that is willows. If you're not familiar what a willow is, it's a bush. They grow usually like up to 5-6 feet tall, and they're super, super thick. And so why I said earlier I have no desire to go do that again, you can see the water sources down there and that feed it from up here. And basically it's just impossible to find the trail. It's impossible, literally impossible. You might be able to make out, probably not, but it ends out right there. The last time I did it, I followed it for maybe a quarter of it and then just booked it left as much as I could to get out of the willows, and found myself in more willows. And instead of taking the trail out like I wanted, I was back on the trail, the Bierstadt trail, which added distance, and I was just super, super not thrilled about it. So again, on this crossover, super, super loose dirt, super loose rock. Man, I'm gassed. Officially done with Sawtooth. Give you a quick look back, crossover right there, and the ridge, and Bierstadt, which has enough people on it to play a full game of football. Once you come out of the crossover, you're going to take a right and head up this mess of rocks. Next up, you're going to want to go straight. The cairns are going to take you to the right. There's legitimately no point in going right. So just stay straight here. Aim for this hump. This is what you're going to, if you didn't go straight across, I'm just showing you what you'd see. It's basically big cliff outs here. It's pretty. It's like a cool couloir to check out, potentially. Lake. But yeah, you just don't need to do it. I was wondering if we're gonna see these guys up here. Some mountain goats. A little far away. I'm gonna try to keep my distance, but also give you hopefully an okay look. But there's 3 of them. A couple there, and another one there. They're always on Mount Evans. They've really kind of been ruined by people in a lot of ways. Such a beautiful animal. Never get tired of seeing them. Just so pretty. But you could tell they're pretty acclimated to people, because I'm literally 10 yards from them, 5 yards from them, and I'm not trying to get close, but they're just kind of here and they could care less. But such a pretty, pretty, pretty animal. Super impressive. Okay, stay away. And now he's coming here, so I'm gonna leave them alone. I got so distracted by the mountain goats, forgot to show you the rest of the route. So Evans is literally like through there, so you can climb these ridges if you want to, but my advice would be to stick to the right side here and like right there. That way you don't have to gain any unnecessary elevation. Beautiful view here of Bierstadt, Sawtooth, and just this beautiful high alpine lake. So once your view is like this of Bierstadt, there's like a little rock outcropping here. You can either go up the ridge direct if you want, or you can fall. You'll see a massive cairn down here. There's a ton of cairns up here, so it really shouldn't be complicated to follow them. All right, so this is the summit of Mount Evans, and real top is right up there. You can see a handful of cars, everything else going on here. So road's closed because of a bike race. Summit of Mount Evans. Second time up here. Well, third. Second time hiking it. Clouds are just too quickly moving in. It's 10:19, 7 miles total from Guanella Pass to here. So if you were to go back, you have about another 2.5, 3 miles to get back to Guanella Pass from here. And obviously you have two options to either go back Sawtooth, like I mentioned, or go down that gully I showed earlier. Obviously, if you had a car up here and the road was open, you could just go down here as well, but for most people that's probably not an option. A little sprinkle action, but pretty good views otherwise. It's pretty impressive. These guys are biking up this thing, and ladies. But yeah, Sawtooth is a really solid class 3 hike. It's not like super tough, but definitely a lot of route finding throughout this hike, which is key. But yeah, just a beautiful hike, and lucky enough to have less people on the summit today, which is cool. For a full hike review of Mount Evans via the Sawtooth Ridge, you can check the link below. Thanks for watching, and as always, please subscribe not to miss any future hike adventures. See you next time, and pray I get down.